and we are off and rolling on a Buffalo Football Victory Monday here on the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show on WGR Sports Radio 550. Sal Capaccio with you. Glad to be with you here today. Let's tell you right away that our Victory Monday show on Buffalo Bills Football Victory Monday here on WGR is presented by Catholic Health, the right way to care, and brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com. And by Northtown Hyundai, Western New York's premier Hyundai dealership. Shop online at northtownhyundai.com. You know the drill, folks. The next 2 hours pretty much devoted to you, your phone calls on what you liked, what you didn't like, the wild swing of emotions, concerns, questions, comments, confusion. I mean, we got all the C's today. We got concerns, we got comments, we got confusion on this Buffalo Bills team this year. Jekyll and Hyde, who are they? I mean, a lot to get to on yesterday's game. Chris Brown on the Buffalo Bills radio network on the calls you just heard a moment ago. Of course, Josh Allen, post-game sound from the locker room and the podium as well. Thanks a lot for joining me here today. And, of course, not only are you listening on WGR, but you can watch on the Twitter and Twitch streams. Thanks a lot. WGR 550, thank you very much. Just go check that out. I tweeted out at Sal Sports the YouTube stream. I said Twitter, sorry, the YouTube and Twitch streams. And yes, hello everybody. AC Man always won the first ones in, along with Hot Dirt and Go Buffalo Bills. JT from USA, Steve Moore, T-Train. Thank you very much, Yeti. We got Charles in there. I love to say hi to everybody in the chat box. JP Jaybird. Okay, JP Jaybird. We got Jake. We got Cake. Jake and Cake. All right. Sabbath. Rarbo. Hi. I just like to say hi to everybody there. Hello. What's going on? Custis. Thank you so much. And a lot of you are coming in now and saying hi. I can't chat with you, as I always say, but you can chat with each other, and I can pop in once in a while to say hello or during a break. So, chat box, keep it respectful. We got Owen on that a little bit. We got Owen Parker here on the video side. We got Dan Dale on the audio side, along with Joe Cali as well. Your calls, 803-0550. And as we go along today, there's going to be a lot that we're going to get to, the good, the bad, and holy cow. Steve. Hi. Yeah, I said hi to Sabbath too, I know. All the people that come in that have the same takes every week that they just can't wait to fire off about the Bills and their coaches and their players. And everybody had all of those chambers loaded and we're firing them off on Sunday, yesterday, in the first half, right? As bad of a first half as you can imagine. As bad of a first half as you can imagine. It did not go well for the Bills. It was, if you want to call it a bad game plan, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Let me, again, do what I normally do here, which is at least kind of bring it back to reason a little bit and say, what went wrong? Why did it go wrong? Or what went right? Why did it go right? To me, it's just uneducated to say, oh, my God, coaches suck, bad game plan. You went into the game and you didn't have the right game plan and they were, no energy or whatever. That's a blanket generalization that, sure, if you want to go there and have the low-hanging fruit, that's fine. Not excusing it at all. It was terrible first half. The Bills have to be better. But I would tell you, give credit to the Patriots. 2 weeks. They had 2 weeks to prepare, and they came up with some things that kept the Bills off balance early in the game. And then the Bills hurt themselves immediately with a touchdown drive they allowed, and then first play, they don't connect on the deep ball. Bam, things start to snowball against them. And they just couldn't recover. Eric Wood, I was just on his Centered in Buffalo podcast this morning. That's going to be out later today. And he made a great point. And I'm going to reiterate this point for you today. Sorry, Eric, to steal your thunder before people hear it. But I'm going to say this because he said something that resonated with me. The Bills are so kind of short-handed on defense with all the injuries they have that they kind of have to figure out what other teams are doing first before they can make their adjustments personnel-wise and scheme-wise. And unfortunately, that's hurting them early in the games. And I agree with that. It is hurting them early in the games. They should be better. You'd love to see them better. They have to execute better. You'd love to see a, quote-unquote, better game plan. But I think what the Bills are doing here is they're trying to figure out what the other team is doing and then countering. Unfortunately, what the other team is doing is getting the better of them too early and putting them behind a little bit too early in the game. You need a stop earlier in the game. On defense, this is. you need to be able to score a little bit early in the game on offense. And that's been a little, here and there this year. And then as the game goes on, what the Bills do is they see what you're trying to do to them and say, okay, now how do we adjust? How do we make these adjustments? And we talk about halftime adjustments all the time in football. Adjustments happen throughout the game. One of the biggest adjustments is after the first series. But in this case, it didn't matter. First series, second series, Patriots scored in their first 3 drives. The Bills couldn't figure out how to really stop them, slow them down until really kind of later in the second quarter. And by then, it's already like, is this too late? How are you going to stop them? Then they go and they regroup a little bit at halftime. They come out. And really, the kick return by Ray Davis, we'll get to him in a little while, kind of changed the flow of this game from a standpoint of settling it down for the Bills. Settling it down. Listen to Josh Allen after the game. Listen to him talk about how that particular kick return got them over midfield. They need a touchdown. If they can score a touchdown, they're only down 10 points. Once they knew they could, if they got a touchdown, they're down 10. And once they got that touchdown, this game changed. This game changed when it got to 24-14. Okay? Once the Bills got it to that point, it's a 10-point game. They feel like they did a good job at the end of the half and at the beginning of the second half. They just need to get a stop or two, and then right away they get a stop. Now the game is completely flipped. Give the coaches credit for making adjustments. Give the coaches credit for figuring out the right personnel and the right way to attack in the second half. If you want to say they didn't have the right game plan to start, that's fine. I think what's happening here on the defensive side, I'm just talking defense right now, is, okay, what have we seen a theme of the last 2 weeks? The last 2 weeks, we've seen a theme of the Bills getting more aggressive in the second half on defense. Why is that? Because the Bills ultimately want to rush they want to start every game by coming at you with 4. They want to go with 4. They want to have a 4-man pass rush to get to the quarterback and to disrupt and not have to use extra blitzers. So they go into each game now, it seems like, we're going to do that. And if it works, great, let's go. We're ready to rock and roll. Unfortunately, it's not working, and now they have to adjust. And now they have to start adding more to the pass rush, adding a spy, getting more aggressive on the outside. You just hope it doesn't get too late. And in this game, it almost got too late. It would fix everything if they could just get to the front 4 a little bit earlier. You wouldn't have to get to these adjustments later. But that's what they did in this game. They get a little bit more aggressive. 3 sacks in the second half. 0 in the first, 3 in the second. And folks, the Bills are playing well in the secondary right now. They are playing well in the secondary. Every Tuesday, I tweet out the Bills' stats. Run yards per game, pass yards per game, against, all that kind of stuff. And the Bills this year, we know, have been terrible against the run statistically. One of, if not the worst team in the league against the run. Good against the pass. The numbers are really good. And I'll get a lot of people to say to me, well, the numbers against the pass are so good because teams are just running on them. Okay, there's a little bit of truth to that, right? Because teams are running on them and they don't have to throw as much because they can gain yards on the ground. But volume-wise, that may be true. But listen, the Bills are still very good metrically against the pass. It's not like teams are only running the ball. And I think it's time to recognize that it's not just because teams are running the ball. It's because the Bills are actually doing a good job in the secondary. And that actually kind of changed about midway through the year when a hobbled Taylor Rapp comes out of the lineup. An older Jordan Poyer comes into the lineup. They move Cole Bishop out of the box back to more of a free safety type of role to allow Jordan Poyer to fit down in the box more to help against the run. Shaq Thompson, of course, has helped against the run. But I'm talking pass here. And I think the corners are playing well. And even without Christian Benford yesterday, now this isn't the world-beating wide receiver group they played. There's no doubt about that. But even against the Bengals, they did a good job, and that was Benford playing. This time he didn't. I think Trey White deserves a lot of credit. He's been playing well. And Max Hairston, other than the pass and the first drive of the game against Hairston that should have been probably challenged. It wasn't. It was a call to catch. Other than that play where he got beat, I didn't hear Max Harrison's name called and Chris Brown in my ear pretty much all game. Why? Because I think he played a good game. The Bills' secondary is playing well. And because of that, they're now in games adjusting to bringing more pressure because the front 4 is not doing enough to get home and allowing those guys to just cover and trusting them. And they've done a nice job. There's so much nuance to the defense. Let's talk about the offense. If you hit that play on the first play of the game, I mean, it probably isn't 21-0 at halftime. I mean, 21-0 and 24-7 at halftime, right? It's probably not. You hit that first play of the game, and suddenly this is a new game right away. They didn't, though. And then, of course, they wind up punting the ball away, and things start snowballing on defense, and now you feel like you're pressing, and now you're making mistakes. I thought the Bills played tight. I'm not going to use the word that they weren't ready, they didn't have energy. I don't think that's the case at all. I think they played tight. I think they went into a game thinking, okay, the only way this team's going to beat us is if we make mistakes again like we did last time in Week 5. It was the same thing I said against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bills went in the Steelers game and said, just don't make mistakes. But when you play like that, you make mistakes. You know when this game changed for the offense? When they started to be a little more loose, when they started to be a little more free, when they started to open up and say, okay, if we make a mistake, hey, we just got to go out there and play. And they started playing. That's what happened against the Bengals last week. Same thing. And then finally and then they leaned into the run game, and finally it was there, right? You get into a situation in the second half where you have good field position, and you could start to lean into a run game that's been working, and they had Milton Williams out, and you wanted to get to it earlier, you didn't. You start leaning on it, and then you're like, okay, now we can settle the game down. The game just settled down. And what do I always say? I said this last week, I'm going to say it again today. It's sports. The game is longer than 30 minutes. It's 60 minutes. It's like 10 series. You just keep playing. You just keep swinging. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Maybe one of these times your punches run out. The bell rings. You're down and you can't get up in time. Maybe that happens. You never want to put yourself in that situation. They're coming dangerously close to that situation. But you just keep playing. You just keep swinging. You just keep making adjustments to do what you need to do to win. This is sports. I am really glad that I am on the sidelines during a game for a lot of reasons, but one of them is during the game. I don't get on Twitter during the game. I can't. I got a job to do, right? I'm checking out stats during the game, and I'm doing reads and paying attention to what's going on the sidelines. So I can't get on social media during the game. It's not what I do. I don't want to read it. Holy cow. I can't imagine what the social media verse was like during the first half and the craziness. And that's okay. I always say, and it was not unwarranted. The Bills deserved to get crushed during the first half about it. But I'm talking more about the fight, the people from Boston and what they were probably saying, and the back and forth between Bills fans themselves and the fighting going on. It's okay, man. I always say that fan's job, your job, a fan's job, it's okay to be, you're going to be reactionary. You're going to be over-emotional, over-reactionary. Because that's what happens. It's not my job here. My job here is to bring it down, to tell you why things weren't as great as they appear sometimes, and to bring it up where they're not as terrible as they appear, to keep you in this space that we like to live in. Just like Josh Allen said, don't get too high, don't get too low. He said it after the game. And the end result is the Bills erase a 21-point deficit and then a 24-7 halftime deficit. They walk away with a victory. They're still in second place in the division. They're probably not going to win the division. It's still most likely going to New England, but you make them serve it out. You make them keep playing because you keep swinging. And you put yourself in the best position possible to do what you have to do towards the end of the year to A, be there in case they do falter, or B, just be ready to play in the playoffs. Your phone calls, 803-0550, the number here on the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show today on WGR Sports Radio 550. Hi, everybody. Sal Capaccio with you. Thanks a lot for joining me here in the YouTube stream. Got a lot more people who came in, so I appreciate you there. And, of course, listening, whether that is on the radio or online.